Guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over the 2022 battlegrounds in the United States Senate and how both political parties can win through these battleground states. So Democrats currently have 44 and Republicans 47, not including these battlegrounds. Actually, I'll even add Florida as a battleground, which will be 10 battleground states that both political parties will be 9 battleground states both political parties will be competing for. Some states tend to lean Democratic and some tend to lean the Republican side. So today we're going to be going over these states. So Republicans currently have 46 and Democrats 45, with states that are safe for each political party. So if you look at Arizona's shift to the Democratic Party, it is for sure not a solid Democratic state, and it will not be between now and probably the next decade. It will not be a solid Democratic state, as Joe Biden did win it only by 0.3%, and he won Georgia by 0.2%, even a smaller amount than Arizona. But let's take a look at the 2020 election. Election in Arizona. And the map. So flipping the state that Donald Trump did win in 2016. See, here is the margin, and Joe Biden did win it by about 11,000 votes. So here it is. What determined the election is just about 10,000 votes. So you look at that. Where did Joe Biden win? What caused Joe Biden to win the election was Phoenix, Maricopa County, a county that houses literally 3/4 of the population in Arizona. Phoenix, an area where it received almost 2 million votes. And in 2016, the reason that Trump won Arizona is because he won Maricopa County. You see Maricopa County, the area in Phoenix, all this little square area in Phoenix, around Phoenix, is blue, meaning Joe Biden actually had the lead, while back in 2016, Trump had the lead in this area. So Joe Biden won this area by about 6,000 votes. So if Trump could have made up this 6,000 votes, he would only be about 2,000 to 3,000 votes away from winning the election. And how could he also win those 2,000 to 3,000 votes? He could also win that. So if he took Joe Biden's lead and overcome Joe Biden's lead by about 3,000 to 4,000 votes, he would win the state of Arizona. That does not mean he'd be reelected president, but that does mean it is possible for Arizona to stay its Republican ways. But let's look at the Senate. It makes things a lot more complicated. So let's look at Mark Kelly's seat in 2020. It's the same thing. In Phoenix, Arizona, it's even a further margin. Mark Kelly won by 52%. 51.2 in Arizona, so that's a 4% margin. While presidential-wise, it's only a 2% margin, so double the amount that you had. So let me go back to the Senate here. So here's Phoenix, and you just see Mark Kelly won it by about 15,000 votes. Yep, about 15,000 votes. And that's still a small amount, but it's slowly increasing. So Martha McSally, if she would have won those just 15,000 votes in Phoenix, in Maricopa County, it's a close one. It's very close. But that determined the election. But that did not determine the election just there. Whether Martha McSally even took the lead by 20,000 votes, she still lost the race by 80,000 votes. So because Martha McSally did not do as well as Donald Trump in other areas of the country. So let's just look at, for example, Yuma County. Here it was about a 1.8 margin of victory. For Donald Trump, this was a 6% margin of victory. So you see, Donald Trump did a lot better. Or if we look here at Gila County, Trump won it by 66%. In the Senate, Martha McSally won it by 65%. So relatively the same. Here, 58% for Martha McSally, and for Donald Trump, also about 59%. So you do see Donald Trump doing a bit better. And you go over here to Apache County, 66% for Joe Biden. And in the Senate, 68%. So in general, it's a lot closer for the Republican Party in there because Trump was a good candidate in Arizona. He was a great candidate. Just imagine if you can't see a great candidate winning Arizona, you could size a victory. You can't see a great candidate winning Arizona, then just go to a regular, ordinary candidate. Ordinary candidate like Mitt Romney. I'm not saying that Donald Trump is better than Mitt Romney, but I'm saying that if you look at how close it is, some Republican idol, Donald Trump, was sort of the Obama for the Republican Party, couldn't win Arizona. And that we're seeing is getting closer if we look at the House. So in general, the House. Democrats held this seat. But the question is, were there any flip seats? Okay. From up here, races in Arizona are in, and neither party flipped a seat. So it stayed the same. Now, this is the northeastern part of Arizona. So you see all this grayed out area, the blackish area is where this seat is, 1st District. Now here, in the western parts, in the southern, at the very bottom, you see more conservative areas. Well, if you go further north, at the very top, you have Coconino County, you have Apache County. These counties are states that voted for Joe Biden. Now, how could the Republicans do? It's called, gerrymandering is just how a district. So if you cut out the northern part, it would be a Republican-held district, and the northern part, the Democratic-held district. And if you expand into a little more Republican areas, the Democrats really don't have any more power. So I do see. Let's get back to the United States Senate. I know it's a battleground state. I definitely know it's a battleground state, but I do see Democrats picking it up. And now we're going to go over Nevada, a state that I also see Democrats picking up. So if you look at the 2020 election, let's go to the 2020 election. In Nevada, it was a lean margin of victory, so it was between 1 and 5%. It's about 2.4%. Let me get this loading here. Okay, let me characterize. Okay, while that loads. Let me characterize. I do think Democrats, again, in Nevada, leans margin. Same as Arizona, but you did see many years ago, it was always the other way around. It was always Arizona being a lot more conservative. But now it's slowly, as Arizona shifts to the left, and Nevada didn't go anywhere from 2016 to 2020. It stayed the same, a 2.4% margin. And that margin is not expected to grow or shrink in 2024. But it is more likely to grow than it is to shrink, because I do not see Republicans picking up the state of Nevada. Well, the reason that Democrats will pick up Nevada, the reason I think that Democrats will pick up Nevada in the House, in the Senate, and the presidential race is because I do think that in order for Republicans to win the state, is to get a better amount of votes in Clark County, which is the county of Las Vegas. I'm not sure what the county of Reno is called, but in Reno specifically. Okay, let me. I apologize for the internet connection. Okay, so look at this. Joe Biden won it by about 35,000 votes. So look at Las Vegas, Clark County. Okay, Reno County is just called Washoe County. Okay, so here, Trump needed about 30,000 votes. Now he could have done it simply here, just simply here. Okay, you look at Washoe County. Just look at this. Look at this margin. About 4%. He was really close here. This was a almost 10% margin victory. So Reno, he could have got his votes here and here. So set up these areas. These areas that Trump is winning are not are just not gonna be, the areas where high health populations are. You got Carson County right there, the tiny county, but you don't really have any other here. You only received less than 1,000 votes in this county, exactly 1,000 votes in this county, and Eureka County, our neighboring Lander County, less than 2,500 votes. So, you look at the Senate. There was no Senate this year. Okay. House. All races held this district. So look at the demographics. You see, is one of the most diverse states. 50% is non-white. So this causes, you look at the seats. You just see that because of this non-white population, it was obvious. Okay, 2.4% right there, 100%. They held the seat of Nevada, and I do think they'll continue to hold these seats. So let's move on to a few other states. On my map here, trying to figure out what happened to this map. Okay, here we go. So, in Florida, I don't see Democrats picking up Florida, just like Democrats did with Arizona and Nevada. I don't see a Democratic seat, a flipped seat in Florida. Okay, so why do I don't look at that? I would say Florida always should be left. I put it on a likely margin because if you look at Florida in the 2020 election, we're just going to take a look at Florida and really how Florida shifted from the Democratic Party and is slowly becoming sort of a conservative state. And I always see Florida being a swing state. And I still consider it a swing state. I for sure think the Democrats can pick it up. But in the United States Senate, I would not be surprised if somebody says if Marco Rubio wins in 2024 by more than 5%. I'm not surprised. Let's see, there was no Senate race in Florida. Here. But just look at this. This is Clearwater County, a county that Trump did win in 2016. But this year, obviously, Joe Biden outperformed Hillary Clinton. So, because he outperformed Hillary Clinton, he was able to carry this county by under 1,000 votes, or 0.2%. But Trump did pretty well in Clearwater. Now, if you see, you look at, Miami. Hillary Clinton won Miami by 66%. 66. Now look at Joe Biden. 53. Joe Biden did not perform very well. Now, the reason he did better in Clearwater is not a county that is very, very, very the high Hispanic and Latino population. Now, you look, Hillary Clinton did good with Hispanic and Latinos and lots of minority groups. That's why she won it by 66%. Joe Biden, only 53. And this caused Trump's win by not just 1% in 2016, but to cross over 3%. So meaning Miami was a close one for Trump. And you look at a few suburban counties, you look at south of Tampa. You look at, in general, conservative counties. Voting for Donald Trump, and I just don't see the state of Florida going for Joe Biden unless Joe Biden can. Florida's more diverse, 46% is non-white. Unless Joe Biden can really take back that Miami vote. See, Jacksonville, an urban county, Joe Biden only won by about 3.5%. So not as well in Florida. So I see Republicans for sure picking up Florida. We'll come back to Georgia. But New Hampshire, I don't even have to go over this. Joe Biden won it by 7.4%. I still think the Senate would go by Lean's margin. I just don't. I do think because Republicans are known to do pretty well in the state of New Hampshire. So these are the 4 states, or 5 seats, because 2 seats in Georgia. This seat, I don't even talk about. Sorry. This seat, don't even talk about. It's safe Democratic. So 49. Now, all Democrats need is one more seat. And they have control. In Wisconsin, it's a held Republican seat. And I'm about to show you why. And why I think Republicans are not just going to do it by tilt margin, but by about 1% margin. And I think that is a leans margin. I do think Republicans will carry Wisconsin by a leans margin. Let's just look at 2020. Let's look at the 2020 election in the state of Wisconsin. I mean, Joe Biden won the state, but it wasn't like a huge surprise. Joe Biden outperformed Hillary Clinton. And we thought, okay, maybe because he did that, many voters are not going to be like, and you just vote. So here, see, that was a 0.7% margin, much bigger than Arizona. But Donald Trump only lost by 20,000 votes. So if you we're going to look at this, is Trump did win Green Bay, a relatively suburban area, watch there. Now, what can Trump do is, you look at Eau Claire, it was very close, but Joe Biden still held his lead. You look at Madison, it's obvious Joe Biden will win Madison. But people were just a lot more, a lot of people preferred over, 1.5% of people in the state of Wisconsin, of voters in Wisconsin, decided, well, last year we voted, the majority of that 1.5% voted for Trump. And this year, they flipped for Biden because they thought, okay, I'm not a huge fan of Trump, but I don't really like Hillary Clinton either. But now it's like, I'm not a huge fan of Trump, and I think Joe Biden is not the best candidate, but he's a lot better than Hillary Clinton. That's not my opinion, but that's the opinion of the people. Because we see that Joe Biden did much better than Hillary Clinton. And I think Joe Biden is one of the best Democratic candidates, one of the best candidates in the sense, in the Rust Belt, not in Florida. And I do think in order for Trump to win, Trump is going to have to just win over more voters in Milwaukee, in bigger cities. And I still see that in the district, in the House, neither party flipped a seat. I do still see Republicans maintaining that lead in the Senate in Wisconsin. Michigan, no doubt, for the Democratic Party is a safe Democratic state. So Democrats will actually have 48 electoral. Oh no, I keep careful. No, Maryland is a Republican state, which is not going to happen ever. So, in Pennsylvania, I'm gonna leave this one blank because we have nothing going on in Pennsylvania. In North Carolina, we don't know who's coming. We don't know what's gonna happen. But my projection, once we have more news on who's running, what's happening, I still say North Carolina is a tilt margin for the Republican Party. Some people characterize it as a tilt margin for the Democratic Party. But I still think it's a possibility for Republicans to keep North Carolina by a small amount. Smaller than this year, and probably a flip in 2024. But these midterm elections, I do think Republicans could continue holding on to North Carolina. In Georgia, for sure, a leans margin. I don't see Republicans carrying the seat. And in Pennsylvania, this one is really close. It's always been a swing state, right and left. Because we don't know much about Pennsylvania, I'm going to leave it there. But no matter what, whether Republicans do carry it, it's going to be a split tie. And I still do see Democrats holding control in the Senate. And I do think Democrats might even expand their majority. I do even think Democrats could expand their majority outward. But I do think for now, Democrats will keep control of the Senate. And it's possible for Republicans to take back the House. Now, the only way for Republicans to win is, first of all, they have to carry Pennsylvania. And they have to flip one of these three seats. Most likely, the closest one is Georgia or Arizona. But I still see the closest one for them is Arizona. Georgia. I still see Georgia being the best seat for Republicans to tackle, even though it's not the best one, but it's the only option. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and hit that bell. I will be posting multiple videos daily for the next week or 2 weeks just to get you guys updated on what's happening throughout the country on political videos. So see you guys in the next video tomorrow. Bye.